Welcome to the first 20 days of reading, day 14. It's me, Mrs. Gill here. Thanks for joining us. On day 14, we are going to talk about, putting our thinking caps on because reading is thinking. Remember, we've been talking about this all along. Even more importantly, today on day 14, we're going to talk about how your writing is evidence or proof of your thinking. Miss Yap talked about this when she wrote the letter and modeled this. But remember, our writing shows what our reading voice was thinking while we were reading. Maybe you don't know what to put on your Post-it note as you're reading. Today, I want to talk to you about using something called think marks. Think marks show what we are thinking as we read. And remember, our Post-it notes or sticky notes help us to track what our reader voice is thinking as we're reading. So let's look at some of the really neat symbols you might put on your Post-it notes to show what you're thinking. There's funny parts, confusing parts, favorite parts, maybe a prediction or an inference, or a connection. We've talked a lot about making connections in different types. Or a visualization. This means you saw something as you were reading. You pictured it in your mind. Or you put a star for an important part or an exclamation mark for an exciting part. Or maybe an N on your Post-it to show that you learned new information. If this doesn't make sense yet, don't worry, because I'm going to show you how to do this today. Let's practice using our think marks with the article where your electronics go to die. Before I even begin reading, let's preview the text. We already read the title. See what you notice just by skimming over the article and noticing any text features that stand out to you. I have a prediction. I bet this article is going to talk about what happens to cell phones when they don't work anymore. Ooh, another thing I noticed, something that seems really important is that words to know box down in the right-hand corner. I bet this will give me key words from the story or article. It reminds me of a mini glossary. This is the excerpt from the article that we're going to read together. Let's look over the heading before we even begin reading. What can we do? Ooh, this seems important. Headings are important because they're like titles. This heading tells me that this is going to tell us more information about what we should be doing with our electronics, what part we play in recycling them. I'm going to jot that down. I have a question. I wonder if one of the suggestions they'll make will be to buy less electronics. I wonder if that would be helpful in the recycling of electronics. Now I'm ready to start reading. What can we do? There are several things that, that's a big word. Manufacturers. Manufacturers. I think I need to write that down on my sticky. That's a big word, and I'm not quite sure what it means. I know that my grandpa used to work for a manufacturer, and he used to make things. I'm going to jot that down as an idea. Governments and consumers. Ooh, consumers. I'm going to jot that down too. I know that consumers, I think that has to do with spending money in this case. or buying something. So I'm going to jot that down. Let's start over from the beginning so that we can understand what we're reading. There are several things that manufacturers, governments, and consumers can do to make sure that e-waste, oh my goodness, I have an idea. I think that e-waste stands for electronic waste. I remember that from earlier when I was reading the article. So there are many things that consumers can do to make sure that e-waste is recycled safely. I must be a consumer because they were talking about what can we do. Okay, let's keep reading, sorry. Some countries put the burden of safe product disposal on manufacturers. I can't wait to keep reading. Dear students, today we learned that reading was thinking, and writing is proof of that thinking. If I use think marks on my sticky notes when I read, it helps me to code or organize all of my thoughts that my reader voice has. Then, these sticky notes can help me create my response letter. If you look to the left of your screen, you'll see that I can show evidence of my thinking by saying or writing, and I've given you a lot of sentence stems or sentence starters to help you begin when you're trying to transfer your sticky notes over onto a letter. So watch how I do it below. From the reading. I know that headings and words to know boxes are helpful to use even before you start reading. These text features get my brain ready to start thinking before I begin reading. According to the text, there is a lot we can do as consumers to help in recycling our e-waste or electronic waste. Sincerely, Mrs. Gill.
Thanks for joining us on this journey to becoming better readers and thinkers. Today, as you go out and read your text, don't forget your Post-it notes and your pencil. Goodbye.